Hello YouTube, it's Eternal Frost here, back from a hiatus. Well, it's supposed to be 2 months. But there it is. So, early notice we're gonna go down here. Lego City Undercover. Pretty good game. Been playing it with my son. So I'll be playing this in the background while I kind of go over where I've been, what I've been doing, and you know, what's been going on in the past couple months. So I have not been too present on the YouTube scene.
I gotta get to Papalardo's before Vinny leaves to meet Rex.
Talk here. Oh, I guess that's it. So I've been gone for quite a while because I took a 1-month hiatus. I was just feeling a little bit stressful in life, right? So I went ahead and did what I had to do. I kind of took a break. Playing games and recording daily for a few months was kind of taking its toll on me. And to be honest, I didn't have much new stuff to play. And so I was kind of just not sure what I wanted to record, you know? There was, between Warhammer and Space Hulk, and yeah, there's some newer maps for Vermintide. But it just, nothing was really catching me. And I don't know, leave that from Vermintide 2 in the bottom right there. New maps, like I said, but nothing really caught. And yeah, I was just kind of taking kind of a gaming break of all things. Anyway, so a month of that, and I was about to go back into it. Actually, I was going to start playing some of this and going through the storyline. Well, you saw I'm on chapter 11, so I'm pretty well into the game by now. But I was going to play this, kind of review it, and do that thing. But then my computer broke. Not sure what happened. I plugged an amp into it. For those of you who don't read the comments, I have an Alienware 13R3 that I do all my recording on. So recording, video gaming, etc. I do use a monitor. I don't normally play with an external monitor. I play using the keyboard that comes with it and everything. The only thing that's really, I guess, special, for lack of a better word, is my mouse, which is a Mad Catz Rat Mobile. Yeah, so the motherboard front, I guess I'd plug an amp into it, and it was a powered guitar amp, and I booted the computer with the powered amp plugged in, and it just didn't boot. I was like, what's the deal with that, right? So I thought maybe it was just a long boot, so I let it sit, came back to it an hour later, and it still wasn't on. But, you know, I had to do other things that day, so I spent the entire day away from the computer, came back to it, still didn't boot, poked it a couple times, and yeah, it was completely dead. Wouldn't power on, no beeps, nothing, no post, check, etc. It was just completely dead. So, reached out to Alienware Support. I've heard good things about Alienware Support, and you know, I'd like to kind of reinforce that. Most people get paranoid because, you know, they think about support, especially for like a laptop or any kind of pre-built system. For the most part, most serious PC enthusiasts will think that support is pretty useless. You know, either their techs are bad, or the support that's provided just takes too long. You know, it's easier to fix it yourself.
I'm hungry.
And quicker, right? Anyway, so in the past I've had a couple of friends have their rigs break, and sure enough, you know, it takes a month to ship out the rig and get it back and troubleshoot it. So, you know, I guess your standard unpaid warranty for a boutique computer, or, you know, a regular computer is going to be probably around a month to wait. Right? And then you might have to pay shipping. So, because computers are big, heavy things, laptops notwithstanding, you're probably talking about another $25-50 of shipping, right? And of course, you can't really always predict when it's going to come back. So you're usually out of your computer for like a month, which kind of sucks, right? So I was really surprised that I was able to reach out to Alienware, and day of, they basically troubleshot and said, hey, You know what? We're gonna go ahead and send you a on-site technician. Now, keep in mind this is unpaid, right? This is from a certified pre-owned system. So off the bat, I paid about $12.50 for a system that retailed for about $1,900, so about $600 under on an $1,800 system, about 33% off. So, by the way, I would absolutely suggest that. Doing certified pre-owned Alienware, you get way more than your money's worth. And since they're certified pre-owned, as long as you're getting it from a Dell outlet, you know, and I don't mean this to turn into like a sales pitch or anything, but, you know, these are systems that are certified to work, right? So they're fixed with Dell outlets. Anyway, I feel like I fried the motherboard myself, so I feel like that was my fault with the amp, so no bad on Alienware there. Anyway, they decided to send an on-site tech. He was scheduled within a week. Came down, we chatted, added him to my students' friend list, and yeah, he was a pretty good guy. He knew the ins and outs of the computer. He definitely had worked on these things before, and you could tell, like, he could probably disassembled this thing entirely with his eyes closed, right? Pretty happy with that install. It was a bit weird though, because like he left, we tested everything. The temp seemed a bit high. I redid the thermal solution with graphene sheets, right? From Innovative Cooling, and unlike the first time where I had like a 10 to 20 degree drops, and definitely had the core deltas between 2 and 4 degrees, I'd say. This time, cores 1 through 3 were within 3 or 4 degrees of each other, but core 0 was a good 10 to 20 degrees above the other cores all the time. And it was causing some significant thermal throttling. So I played with that for a week to see maybe if it just needed time to set in, like the graphene sheets needed time to set in, but no dice, right? So called up Alienware, they're like, you know what, we'll send another tech in. So not a couple weeks later, 2 weeks later, another tech came by. Now bear in mind, these techs that they're coming by the way, they are local techs, and they're not necessarily Alienware badge, right? They were both IBM techs in my case, right? So certified IBM repair laptop technicians. I don't know if they're certified by Dell or whatnot, but they weren't, you know, you could tell they were third party, right? This second guy, he called me up before he came here, and I asked him, I said straight out, hey, have you ever done a repair on one of these before? He said no. He said, hey, you know, we'll be fine. I've got schematics on my phone. We'll be okay, right? So I'm like, if you say so, right? Because there are definitely some things that were kind of strange about this. So anyway, he goes ahead and gets by, and a couple hours later, I kind of watch as he's repairing it. It's kind of going weird, right? He's double checking a lot of his work. He's constantly referring to the diagrams, which is fine. You know, I see him like trying to pry the thing open, or despite missing a couple screws, or you know, he wasn't giving me a very comfortable and or safe feeling, right? So I was a bit wary about that. So, you know, I wasn't getting a good feeling about it, but I decided that, hey, it can't be all that bad, right? Could it? So, he proceeded to repair the laptop. I say that in quotes. There may or may not have been an issue or two, as in, like, he definitely dropped his flashlight on the exposed motherboard, like after he had everything taken apart. So I mean that's one thing, right? And you know, when it came to reboot the system, nothing. The system booted up, but there was no visuals, right? There were no motherboard tones either, so it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with the motherboard. You know, everything posted fine. There just was no visuals. I went ahead and plugged in an external monitor, and sure enough, everything came right back up. Like, everything was fine, right? So, you know, he said it was the motherboard had an issue, but again, I doubt that, because if the motherboard had a problem, you'd get the motherboard beeps, which just didn't happen. But, you know, if that's what he wants us to believe, that's cool. That's fine. That's his diagnosis. We ended up depoting the thing back to Alienware. So, I ended up sending it down to Alienware. They weren't going to pay for another on-site. Completely understandable, right? I mean, these guys basically forked over the cost for 2 on-site technicians and I'm sorry, 2 motherboards, you know, because this would be the second replacement. Fortunately, the second motherboard kind of crap. So they're already like $1,600, not including services, out of their pocket. So bear that in mind when you consider all this stuff. And again, these aren't Dell techs; they are third-party techs, right? So Dell's kind of at the mercy of these things, right? Anyway, enough excuses. They took the laptop back, and within a week it was replaced from the depot. Very quick. They basically email you out a label. It's or email. They physically mail you a box with confirming it via email. They physically send you a box with a next day ship, and it's like it comes like in a day, right? So you have an overnight delivery, no extra cost. Again, this is all with unpaid support. So this is all coming from the warranty that's stock of this laptop. So bear that in mind. This is the second repair of this type, right? And oh, why did they climb up this pole? Where was I? All right. So they depoted it, sent it back, and well, I'm not so sure about what happened there. Now they took some of my requests to heart, so for that I definitely appreciate it. They kept the innovative cooling pads, which was great, but the tech who installed them obviously didn't know how to use them. He had applied both paste and the thermal pads, which is not what you're supposed to do. And then he also scored with some kind of metal. He scored the heatsink on the GPU side with some key or something. You know, like for those of you who do PC work, you know that you're supposed to score the heatsink side if you're using paste. The theory is that you get better. You basically get better contact with the thermal paste and the heatsink solution, right? That's the theory, right? In this case, it's not going to work because I'm replacing the paste entirely with these graphene sheets. So they're not a liquid, right? So you kind of want as flat of a surface as possible. And whatever, I cleaned everything, installed everything, and it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Like, I think we were looking at possibly, I mean, right now the CPU temps are good. They're within 3 degrees of each other, so the deltas are good between the cores. And for the most part, they don't go over. For the most part, they don't go over 90 degrees. So typically hit maybe, especially with the with Intel XT underclocked to 120 millivolts. You're probably going to be looking at the mid 80s, low 80s while gaming on the CPUs. With the same for the GPU, right? So the GPU is running a little hot because the CPU can take about 100.
You're gonna get in trouble for that.
Take like 94 or something. But GPU runs a little hot. CPU is okay, right? But here's the real issue: I start getting hard crashes, blue screens, and the blue screens don't finish. So it'll blue screen and then crash, and then when it does the blue screen, when it does the little blue screen reporting, it'll what do you call it? It'll just completely shut down, like just hard crash while it's doing the error reporting. So this is happening in all games that I'm playing, right? Doesn't seem to matter. Look at that shadow there. Doesn't seem to matter. MechWarrior Online, Divinity 2, Divinity 1, Lego City Undercover, they're all causing these crashes, right? And on top of that, I'm getting like weird, your hard drive has detected errors. So, you know, good stuff, basically. Anyway, so that happened. Even though I let it sink in for like a week, and then I basically called the tech back and said, hey, there's something up with it. Anyway, this support I get from this guy, because I'm doing it via email this time, first of all, it takes like a week to even talk to him via email. And on top of that, he promises to call me back at certain times. Because, you know, God forbid they give you a direct number, right? But he gives me some callback times and dates, and he skips 2 of them in a row. And this is something where, you know, I've got a kid. I've got a full-time job where I'm working 12 to 14 hours a day, right? My kid's in kindergarten, sure, but because he's got activities too, such as jiu-jitsu and other things, violin lessons, that sort of deal. My time with him is still sparing, right? So I don't like to have to call these guys outside of work hours. I can be spending time with my kid. Instead, I'm troubleshooting laptop errors. And the problem is, I'm playing this game with my kid. If you look at the top right of the screen, there's an F2 to start. Plug in two Xbox controllers, bam, you're playing co-op, local co-op, this is a great game for me, so I want to kind of talk about it. I'm playing this game with my kid a lot, and this is basically taking time that should be spent having fun with my kid. I don't like it. I don't know anyone who really would like it, right? So anyway, I find it to be unacceptable, so I start finally, after like 2 weeks of just trying to ignore it, I finally decided to start hitting up social media, just start complaining about it. And I also finally, after like a day of digging, find like a direct number I can call Alienware Support. So this third person, he is excellent. He's just as good as the first lady that I work with. Very responsive, very understanding, very willing to work with me, and promises me sometimes that he'll get back to me, which he fulfilled, right? So I'm waiting to talk to him tomorrow again, hopefully, as I sent him an update today on the system. And that's the thing. So 2 out of 3 there. I don't know who the second guy was, but he wasn't worth his salt. And what kind of pissed me off about the whole thing was that this was after I bought the extended warranty. You see, the first time that they responded and replaced everything so quickly, I was so impressed. I immediately just wanted to pay for the extended warranty. I wanted 2 years of coverage to make sure I could get this great coverage that they were giving me now. For as long as I expected to have this laptop, for about 3 years, right? So I'm kind of annoyed, right, that that after I spent $450, which, by the way, I guess the guy I talked to on the phone to extend my warranty, I guess the regular rate's like $600 for 2 years. I'm not really sure if that's true or not, but even if I paid $450, which I did, $450 for the 2 years of coverage, $450 plus
They'll be fine.
plus the $1250 that I originally paid for the laptop is still below the $1,800 that the laptop would have cost new, right? So, I mean, it's still worth it in my opinion, and especially for the amount of service they provide. Anyway, so this guy's out to basically ruin that service, is what I felt like. The third guy, he did a pretty good job, and like I said, he's kind of following up. I unfortunately had to do an OS wipe, which for anyone who who customizes a lot of their computer, it's very painful. I mean, it sounds like one thing to say, hey, I had to redo all my settings. That doesn't sound so bad, but you know, when you've got custom scaling and every game's got its own custom settings, I mean, it's pretty painful. It's not something you want to do. I mean, it took me a good 2 hours to get everything back to, I think, normal, and I'm still not completely confident I've got all my settings right. So, yeah, but for the most part, the crashing stopped. I think they'll, you know, they might be sending me like a new heatsink or something, because the one they last gave me was scored, like I mentioned. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on this whole thing. I mean, tell me what you think. I mean, was the $450 you think worth it? Does that support kind of meet or beat your expectations? I've already gotten 3 motherboards out of these guys. You know, bear that in mind. So that's about $2,400 worth of just hardware, not including what I've bothered them with on the services side. And they've, aside for that one guy, they've stuck to their guns, and they've really tried to make a commitment to make this thing right. So, you know, maybe it's because I'm a little bit more understanding than I should be, but I think that, you know, I think that it's been worth it so far. I don't know what other people's experiences have been, but, you know, from what I've understood and from what I've seen, other experiences for other companies are essentially, you know, depot only, no on-site, and you have to wait 30 days. That's just normal. Right? So having, in the span of a month, having my motherboard replaced 3 times by 3 different technicians, 1 depot and 2 on site, that's pretty impressive, especially when this is all done, for the most part, outside of a paid warranty. So, anyway, so that's where I've been. The first month I took a hiatus, and the second month has been me trying to get this thing repaired. So, there we go. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put a timestamp here, so for people who want to hear more about this game, they can get a little bit out of it and ignore my ramblings and rantings. But here we are with Lego City Undercover. Like I mentioned before, it's a local co-op game. Works very well with X input, so if you've got 2 Xbox controllers, you can have one easily play as player 1, one as player 2. It is split screen, and it is split screen to the point where people can walk outside of range of each other. Like, you can be in completely different areas of the game. The game, if you've been watching up through this point, is kind of like a Lego version of Grand Theft Auto, right? Open world. You can do whatever you want. There are unlocks all over the place. Some of this stuff is mostly Lego fare, right? So like things you've seen in the other Lego games with color swapping and like hovering or door unlocking abilities. You've seen them before, they're just in a different flavor here, right? But what's neat is, again, that this is an open world game. Most of the games you play with Lego, they're not quite open world like this. I can really roam wherever the crap I want, right? And because it's a Lego game and not Grand Theft Auto, you can share this experience with your kid. So there's no swearing, there's no nudity, there's no... this is about as violent as it gets right here, right? You freeze this guy and he falls over. The storyline's pretty impressive. The jokes are your typical Lego fare, so they're okay, they're good. It's not like groundbreaking. And there are definitely hilarious moments to be had. Like this, for example, this farmer is holding this chicken. I don't know if you're noticing it, but he is holding the chicken backwards, and you can shoot people with eggs. And to me, it's hilarious. 1, the cluck, and 2, that you're just kind of using a chicken as a gun. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, so if you've got a kid, and you kind of want to bring them into gaming, and you're searching for something like for example, have you seen a game where you can kind of just go out and drive around the streets to your whim, using whatever car you want to your whim? I think recently there was a driving simulator that was released, right? A realistic city driving simulator, and sure and all, that's fun, but is it kid fun? Not necessarily. This, you can kind of just pick up, play, and go, and not have to worry too much about anything, right? And there's always something to do. Things to unlock. If you saw, I was at like 33% of the unlocks, which I think I am mostly done with the story. I could be wrong. At chapter 11, maybe I am wrong. I don't know, but 33%, and I feel like I've been playing this game for at least dozens of hours, maybe 20 or 30 hours, right? And the number of vehicles is impressive. The number of costumes is impressive. I can take this skateboard, for example, or that lawnmower, right? I forgot how to drive it really quick. There are segways in this game. There's that bicycle you just saw. It's pretty hilarious, the breadth of just the different things you can do, right? And of course, each of your abilities is associated with this character wheel here. I've got one last ability to unlock here, which I think is either an electrician or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'm supposed to rescue these cats from trees. But yeah, each time you rescue something or accomplish something that that an unlock unlocks, you unlock some more, right? So that's cat. So yeah, you never really run out of things to do. You can eventually, but I have a feeling this game's gonna last some more times. It's definitely gonna be it. So anyway, I've been playing this with the kid. He's 5. He loves it. There's a segue.
Sorry, police business.
Yeah, you have to like pedal or push the skateboard. The storyline is kind of fun. The characters are memorable. It's not tied to some kind of brand, you know what I mean? It's not like Lego Movie or something like, Batman. It's kind of interesting. I think this game was originally released for the Switch.
Get out of the way!
Or not the Switch, the Wii U? And it came out also for the Switch, and that's actually where I bought it originally. I bought it on the Switch. And, I didn't know, but apparently... I wish I could use that. Have anyone know how to get that? I don't even know how to get that. But I'll be honest, if you play 2 players on the Switch, so it's got to be bad on the Wii U, but you play 2 players on the Switch, it's pretty slow. We're talking about sub 30 frames in some cases, right? It's pretty bad. It's doable. Like, my kid doesn't really notice. He
Hope they're
doesn't care.
okay.
But here on the laptop using the NVIDIA it's running perfectly fine and it's smooth and steady 60. And it will hold that 62 if you're playing multi, which is the most important thing, because chances are you're not going to be playing this too much alone like I am. If you are, like what I'm doing right now, chances are you're only doing it to unlock things with your kids, so you don't have to bother with trying to unlock things, you know, while you're playing with your kids. So that's what I've been doing basically in my spare time, is playing this to unlock stuff, and then, you know, when I have the time, play with the kids, play with those unlocked things, right? I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if you guys, this is your thing or not, but, you know, I'm mid-30s. A lot of my friends have kids now, and if you're an aging gamer, if you're a gamer parent, this is definitely one of those activities you can enjoy with your kid. Of course, you don't even have to because it's an open world game. Stick to any of the missions or anything. You can completely just do whatever the crap you want to do. A lot of our time spent is just chasing each other around. He likes to summon the school bus, drive that around, pretend to be a bus driver, and I'll hop on the back and he'll drive me places. So, you know, it's like, do what you want to do. It's kind of a big thing, which is kind of weird, but to say, but it is kind of a big thing for a video game. I don't know. Most games out there are out for a mature audience, and the games that are out there for kids, you don't see anything like Lego City, right? Or you don't see, rather, anything like Grand Theft Auto that's oriented towards kids. Obviously, it's Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I wish they'd come out with another open world game. I played Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, the recent one that is also on the one with like Guardians of the Galaxy and everything. That also came out on Steam and the Switch, and you know, it's not. You have to play through several hours, or a couple hours actually, to kind of get to the point where it's quote open world end quote, and it's not quite as open as this, where you're really, you know, you've got a full city to explore and unlock. So, at least that's my opinion. Anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll just kind of play this for 10 or so minutes. I don't know if there's, it's kind of self-explanatory as an open world game, you know what I mean? So, I'm not sure what much I can say other than kind of showing you what the game's about. Because it's open world, I'm not going to go, oh, you know what? You know what? Why don't I do a mission? How's that sound? The next mission. So, there are two different kinds of studs in this game. There are the regular studs, and then things, and then these, like, shiny studs, for lack of a better term. And the shiny studs have a different kind of currency. So when I pick this up, you should see it. Oh, I assume you see it. There. So you have that 2 million, then the 26,000 at the top. The 2 million are the regular studs. I'm not kind of useless in this game because they don't really. You buy them to, you use them to unlock things, and then like when you're in mission, if you collect them, you can get like gold bricks. Collectible, I'm not sure what gold bricks actually do. Whereas these shiny ones, which some items give you when you break them, those bigger blocks are 1,000. There's a 4 long that does 20,000, I think. They're used. They are used to do buildables. So, like the helipad that I built way earlier in the game, you can get different functions, rides, things like roller coasters you can build, you know, typical Lego stuff. Vehicle call-in points like the helipads, loop-de-loops, you know. And usually if they're something that you can interact with, they'll have some other unlock tied to them. Like they'll have some kind of, for example, a skin or a vehicle.
Oh, great! Whiplash!
So, just slowly monitoring these side passages. Well, I went down some of them, but not all of them. So once I clear this tunnel... There we go. Open up this mission. So if you see me randomly driving into stuff, it's because it's going to grant me those shiny blocks, which is a much more valuable currency than the regular blocks. So, especially if you See there, I built that loop-to-loop over there on the left, using those shiny blocks. So that's the real currency of the game as far as I'm concerned. Here. I don't think I have. Let's do a race.
Hey!
Maybe I won't do a mission. Maybe I'll just keep on normal. Did I actually accept that? I don't think I accepted.
I gotta get to Papalardo's before Vinny leaves to meet Rex.
Pressed B too many times. Alright, let's rob a vehicle. And when you rob vehicles like this, you get to keep them. So, it's not always the vehicle that you're robbing, but there is a police chase involved. Sometimes it's weird police, sometimes it's not. The easiest way to avoid the police is to, well, do your normal thing and don't drive regularly, right? Drive into oncoming traffic, dodge and weave, take shortcuts. Best way to get rid of the police. They're on their tail. You can see where they are as big red stars, or are they some colors? To the left of the screen. Other than that, there's no real time limit to these stolen things. If you get hit to the side like that, that's probably the worst way to get hit, because it will always shave off the car. Now, if you fail, don't be too angry. You can very easily restart. So, it's here, and I'm going to go down the path. Map awareness only because of the landscape. So you can kind of shoot the cops by hitting the brakes, you know, hitting the accelerator at unexpected moments. They're right there. I don't know why they stop. That garbage truck, you know, killed me.
I gotta get to Papalardo's before Vinny leaves to meet Rex.
That is. So anyway, I haven't really... not sure what I'm going to be playing now. So I mean, like, if there's something that you guys want to see me play, definitely hit me up. Let me know in the comments, or tweet/Facebook me. Not Facebook. tweet to me. I don't know why I said Facebook. That's weird. Let me know what you guys want to see. I know there have been some updates to BattleTech. There's that Vermintide 2 update. It's actually, I don't know if it's the update that killed it or what, but I've been having graphical issues with Vermintide 2. I basically played the Bogenhafen, whatever. I played both maps once, and now I can't complete them anymore. They're, I will crash pretty much guaranteed within the first 10 minutes of playing the level. And if I don't, it'll crash me somewhere near the end of the level. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've even attempted to play those.
Cat doesn't like me.
I know Deathwing has had some updates. There's that new map. Played it a little bit, but I didn't actually get to see what. I couldn't figure out how to get to the new maps. So it's kind of completely a shame to but I would like to see what the new maps look like. It looks like it's a very chaosy map. So that seems fun, right? Chaos is always fun. Something about heresy or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, this is it. This is Lego City Undercover. I mean, you know what? I'll do a second video where I go through one of the missions so you guys can get kind of a feel for what that's like. But yeah, like other Lego games, like you'll have to probably redo a lot of the missions to completely complete them, because you have a lot of abilities that aren't just by nature unlocked. And even the first mission, it's like there are things you just can't complete because you don't have all of the abilities you need to complete them. So anyway, so this is Eternal Frost playing Lego City on PC. It's Alienware. My apologies that I haven't been too active. Hopefully that'll change soon. Again, if there's anything you want to see me play, go ahead and send me a message down below. Hit me up on Twitter, or you know, even hit up one of my Twitter buddies, such as Resource on his Twitch channel. I think he's just coming back. He got married recently. Congrats, right? Good time. So he should be rearing to play some games himself. So hopefully we'll get back into that kind of weekly weekly pattern again. So, this is Eternal Frost, signing out.